Hi, my name is Taylor and I am a craft-based YouTuber. I have been crocheting ever since I can remember. In this video, I'm going to be showing you an easily digestible, beginner-friendly granny square hat. This pattern will be written in the description below. Hey y'all, so I just happened to make this hat, and this hat is made with 6 pieces, 5 sides and a top. The sides are worked as granny squares, and the top is a pentagon that's also done in a granny square form. I just thought that I would explain that before jumping into the pattern. So 5 sides, 1 top. Let's go. For the granny squares, there are 2 ways that we can start the flowers in the middle, the magic ring or a chain 4 with a slip stitch to close the ring. I will show you how to do both of them. Feel free to skip to the next chapter if you know how to do either of them or one or the other. To do a magic ring, we're going to start by wrapping the yarn around our 2 fingers to create a loop. Insert the hook under the first strand, that's going to be the tail of the yarn. Reach over and grab the second strand, which is the working yarn with the hook. Pull the yarn through the strand under the first. This will make a loop on your hook. Now we're going to chain 1 and then start with what we're doing in the ring. For this pattern, we're going to do 6 single crochet into the center of the ring. Now we're going to pull the tail of the ring closed. So pull the tail as tightly as possible, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. I changed colors here, so at the end of this, I will cut the yellow yarn and start working with my next color. All right, so alternatively, for a less complicated version of the magic ring, you can do 4 chains. So we're going to start by creating a slip knot and then chaining 4. After this, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first chain that we created. Using the loop that was created by the new ring, we're going to place the 6 single crochet into the center of this loop. Tighten the tail just at the end after all 6 single crochet are completed. This is the easiest if you do the single crochets over the working yarn. If there is a hole that is created by not being able to properly tighten this can be fixed later with a darning needle for either method. The petals are going to be created in round 2. These petals are going to be made by doing a double crochet cluster or linked double crochet. Again, if you know how to do this, you can go ahead and click the next chapter. If not, I'll show you how to do it now. For the petals, we're going to switch the color that we want to use. We're going to chain 2 and then do a double crochet in the same stitch. After that, we're going to do a chain 1 and we're going to start the double crochet 2 together. So it has 5 steps. First, you're going to yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Before finishing the double crochet, you're going to reinsert the hook into the same stitch that the double crochet started in, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Finish one of these clusters, we're going to chain 1 and start the next. So we're going to chain 1 after every stitch. I'll show you again. You're going to wrap around the hook and insert into the next single crochet. We're going to pull through 2, wrap around and insert like we're doing another double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Chain 1 and keep going. We're going to do 2 of these in every single stitch to get 12 petals by the end of this round. To end the round, we're going to do a slip stitch on the top stitch of the first chain that we created. pull through and then cut off the yarn. We're going to start attaching for the background color for the next round. Is the first round that's treated like a traditional granny square, where there are 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then 3 double crochet again to create a corner. And then in every chain 1 space, we're going to do another cluster of 3 double crochet. Each side for this round will have 2 clusters of double crochet before the next corner. For a more detailed tutorial on how to do this, be sure to check out my beginner granny square tutorial video. In my hat that I created, I added another row after this, another round of this granny square, but then my hat was just a little bit too big for me. So if you have like a medium or smaller size head, I would stop here after 4. So a quick reminder as to why blocking is important. Here we have a blocked squares versus unblocked squares. They're actual squares as opposed to like a crinkly mess, but you know, it's an easy fix. It's a really easy fix. All right. So now I'm going to try to start working on the pentagon. I'm going to use the rest of this white that I have, my 5mm crochet hook. And I don't think I'm going to do the petal method. I think I'm just going to do clusters from the very beginning. We want to make sure that everything is consistent. That way all of the squares have the same amount of stitches on the ends. It just makes everything easier and cleaner when we are assembling everything. So let's start this. So now we're going to move on to the top of the hat, which is worked as a giant pentagon. We need 5 sides. That way the hat fits the perimeter of the head pretty evenly. We're going to start by making a magic ring or chain 4 and then chaining 3, doing 2 additional double crochet, the chain 2, and then chaining 3 again to create a corner. We're going to do this corners 4 more times to create 5 corners. So here I just did 5 clusters in a row, and I think that is a pretty good base for this. Forward, we're just going to treat this process like we're making a giant granny square. We're going to do a slip stitch in every corner of the chain. We're going to slip stitch to the corner to chain 3, do 2 double crochet, chain 2, and another 3 double crochet in the same corner space to make another corner, and keep going around until we have the same amount of clusters on each side as a square. So if you did 4 rounds and you have 3 clusters outside of the corners on each square, you're going to do that same thing for the pentagon to have 3 sides, and then you'll attach these in the next part, which is assembly. But again, if you are struggling here, I do have a video where I go into depth about making a basic granny square, which will be linked in the description box. So this is what I have so far. Ooh. Oh, this was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So I did write it down. It will be in the video. So if you want to see how to make this exact thing, link it in the description box down below as well. For the assembly, we're going to start by laying the pentagon and all the granny squares flat, wrong sides facing up. We're going to use a darning needle, but you could also get the same look across by if you slip stitching all the way around using the back loop only. But with the darning needle, we're going to attach the thread that we're using to the tail of the pentagon. We're going to insert the hook into the back loop of the pentagon, go across to the back loop of the first granny square that we're attaching, and pull taut. Then we're going to go up to the next stitch that's above the last on the granny square and move across. We'll be working in like this S zipper like pattern all the way around, and what it does is create like a seamless combination of the two loops on the other side of the granny square. So once the granny squares are all combined, then we're going to do the exact same thing going down the sides of each of the granny square. This hat ended up being just a bit big for my head, so I didn't need to do any additional brim or anything. I weaved in the loose ends and crocheted a perimeter around the top so it looked neat. With a pop of color, I used the yellow. And then the hat was done.